again at Appletree Cottage in the Scottish borders. It's Fireside and Fairytale, and welcome back for another edition on update on my handwork. This week this episode is number 44, and this is the 18th of November 2025, and the year is certainly racing ahead towards Christmas. This week and last, I have really been focusing on knitting. I wanted to complete a couple of items, and usually when you want to finally complete something, it takes longer. It always takes longer than you think it will, but I persevered and I had 2 knitting finishes. However, I'm going to start with the ongoing sampler stitching, and Home for the Holidays. I love that title, isn't it great? It calls up nostalgia and family reunion in years past. It's just a lovely warm title to use for Blackbird Designs booklet. It has some lovely designs in it, including this cardinal bird. If you want a really exotic bird included in your Christmas, then that would be one to go for, but it has other absolutely lovely ones as well. There is holly in it, so I identify as somebody who's British with holly. I certainly don't identify with this bird. And another thing that came in, maybe in the 1990s, I think, was a plant called a poinsettia, or a poinsettia. And that was completely alien to the UK, and of course everywhere you go now you're flooded out with those. They're very spiky, exotic red and green plants. The other one that my sister used to love having every Christmas was the Christmas, it's just gone out of my head. Anyway, a cactus. Christmas cactus, that's right. And it is a lovely shower of red or pink flowers, so do look out for that. I think there's also an Easter cactus, just for something more exotic. But as I say, I identify Christmas, I identify holly with Christmas and mistletoe, and of course the inevitable Christmas tree. So that's chatting about Christmas, and it's rather nice to have a seasonal stitch. I took this one up a few weeks ago, Christmas Garden, and this has a lovely Nordic feel to it. It's quite unusual for Blackbird Designs. They're quite robust motifs. I'm absolutely loving it. It calls for 4 colours. Classic Colour Works Calico Kitty and Fool's Gold, and then we also have Gentle Arts Endive and Heirloom Gold, and you do require quite a substantial amount of the endive, 25 yards they're talking about. They also give a DMC equivalent, which is always useful. They asked for 30 count sheep straw by R&R Reproductions, and the sampler size here in this book is 15 inches by 18 and an 1/8 inch. I like it when people are exact. So there we are. That's the finished result. I wanted to go with something rather brighter. I've certainly chosen the threads they have recommended. I just love them. I think they're beautiful. I've got them 3 here. I should have the 4th, but I don't. So I love the Calico Kitty red. I just love that. It's soft and quite heavily variegated. You also have the endive there, and then this one is the Fool's Gold. The heirloom gold is a rather more reddish brown gold than that one. And I'm using Winter Moon for this one, and I am right in the middle of it, and I didn't have the heart to go and take it all out and go and iron it all and make a presentation, because this is much more real, isn't it? This is actually how I'm stitching. And I am finding that, this is an aside, I am finding that if I have, say, a list of 4 that I've listed to do for one day, I spend quite a lot of time folding things away, getting the next thing out, getting them into a hoop, finding the threads. And so I really think I think it's much better if I go for at the very most 2 a day, and even 1 over 2 days, so I get a proper run at it. Now, I do tidy up certainly to a certain extent at the end of the day, because I have a beautiful pussycat who is extremely well behaved. But you just never know, or there's an accident with a mug of coffee, or you know, so they are put away at the end of the day to a certain extent. Now this I am stitching on 36 count Edinburgh Winter Moon in or soft cream they call it, and the reason for having so much call for that amount of thread is because it's 2 over 2, which I'm really loving. I'm loving that. I'm loving the just having a bit of diversity over the different approaches to each sampler, but also to the final result. And I'm really liking that result very, very much. And what did I do? I did some more of the border. So I've started at the top right, and the border has 17 of those, and I've done a 3 3/4. So my option is just to say, okay, I'm just going to just go right down all 17. You get into a rhythm. You don't have to keep counting the stitches because they're repeated all the way down. You don't have to keep thinking about that when you come something new. And so I may well do that. And this is actually what I have done this past fortnight with Sarah Redfern. Now I'm loving this one. This is the Scarlet House, and that is it completed. I saw it completed and beautifully framed when I was watching Nicole's needlework, and she's done an absolutely fantastic job as always, and she has definitely followed all the colours and also the linen. Now I'm not doing that. My aim is to work round the border. This is my choice for this particular one. I'm going to complete the border, that's my aim, and then go into the centre. And I'm doing that because I'm choosing my own colourway completely. And I'm not choosing my colourway ahead of time. My strategy is to have, I love these honeysuckle. I just adore that honeysuckle border. And so I'm going to do the border in quite bright reds, including Weeks Dye Works Turkish red, and a whole variety of DMC red threads all the way around. I'm putting the central bud, I'm filling that in with yellow, which is not in the pattern, but I wanted to do that. And in the pattern they have 2 reds for the petals, and I'm just using one colour of thread for each of the flowers. They use 2, and I thought, oh, it will take me forever to do that. So as I say, the strategy is to complete a really colourful red-based border of honeysuckle flowers, and then start to look at what I want to do in the central motifs and the text, which may well be in it might be in sort of calm toffee pale gold, something like that, so that it's bordered with a hedgerow of honeysuckle, and then it's quite quiet in the centre. That's my strategy. That's my plan. Whether I stick to it, of course, is to be seen. I did Edwardian work bag, one of my own. I love ribbons. I don't like zips. Zips were introduced roughly, well, certainly into the 1900s, and we're probably around by 1920. And I do not like zips. Never have. Probably never will. And I love ribbons. So go with what you love. Now, some people are going to raise their hands in complete horror. I've just taken a whole handful or two of colours that are potential to be used in Sarah Red Fern. Some of them are Anchor, I think. There you go. So you'll see the final result when I get there. So I suppose you want to see where I've got to. And the big reveal, my progress, as they say, is here. And I'm really getting round it. There we are. This is not in the, it's not in the hoop, this one. You can see I've actually achieved both corners. And with the corners, you are dealing with non-uniform stitch counts. You really do have to be careful about the stitch counts as you're coming around those corners. So I just have a side of the border to go. And then I'll start filling in the leaves. This is the plan. The yellow buds filled in, and the actual nasturtium, not nasturtium, honeysuckle petals completed, and then we'll go on. Now this is on, what is this on? I think it might be 36 count. Let me just look at my book. Where is my book? It is stitched on 40 count Zweigart antique white. I'm really enjoying it. I really recommend this if you like honeysuckle. Now, one that is supposedly to be done every day and isn't, because I got to my knitting in another bag. It only has 2 colours of thread, Gloriana, silk. I love Gloriana. So I haven't put a thread pocket on this one actually. So it's just very straightforward. The thread is Crimson and Cranberry by Gloriana. And the chart is the Red Ribbon by Rhapsody in Red Ribbon Sampler by Sampler Cove. Sampler Cove, they designed it, it says 2008, so it's relatively new. And this is very different to anything else I'm doing. It has some Assisi work in the centre there. And I'm doing it on Kingston linen, again, white. And this is my progress. So we're coming along. This is neatly folded, isn't it? That's my progress. That was my just a little, trial shot. So that will be under the frame, presumably. And this is where I've got to, and it's just very, very satisfying because the patterns change quickly enough or often enough that you don't get bored. You might take one repeat of the pattern to learn what's going on with it and which is the best way to tackle the colours. And then you start to race along. I think there are 4 of these top ones going along. And I did ask, should I just keep going with the border? And in your comments you were saying, well, just go with the flow. Just do what you want. So that definitely has not had a red thread done every morning. But it's getting there. It's getting there and I'm enjoying it. So that is my red ribbon sampler. If you want something that's really geometric, well, it's not completely geometric. There's actually quite a lot of vegetable designs in it, but it's certainly not our motifs and little text and that type of sampler at all. Now, you can see I have been surrounded by flowers, and that's because it was my birthday, and so my family sent me flowers. Absolutely lovely. That single rose is the last one out of my garden, the last rose of summer, of autumn. And so I asked for a chart and some linen for my birthday present. So this is my birthday, and it is on 40 count cocoa by Weeks Dye Works, and that is where I've got with it, because I spent a great deal of time finding the threads and doing substitutes as well. Here's the chart. Whoops. Mani di Donna, original design by Simona Basiglieri, and it's Eunice Toncarel, I suppose is how you pronounce it. The photo, this is the chart, so it's very neatly packaged for you. I've got some threads in here. I think I'll just take them out at the minute. And there we are. That is the final. And this is a slight departure from my selection of samplers so far, in that it's rather more like the Victorian, later 19th century Victorian, in that the motifs are I would say derived from them. They are birds, a little house, I think, with a flag. That's rather like my heart can rest, actually. That has a heart with a house with a flag. Swan, beautiful bouquets of flowers. I just love the rose bouquets. And then 2 animals at the bottom that look like leopards. They look like leopards. I have no idea what they are. They could be leopards. I might make them into pussycats because I adore pussycats. And what attracted me to this was the border, which you can't really make it out particularly, but it is rosebuds going all the way around. And these are the threads that I've chosen for the border. Now, there's a whole lot of, how many threads are there? Oh, a great many threads, which is quite unusual for me as well, really. We've maybe got 1, 2, 4, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. There are about 40 to 48 DMC threads. The fabric originally suggested or was stitched on 32 count cocoa by Weeks Dye Works, and I am using 40 count cocoa by Weeks Dye Works, and I'm absolutely loving. I do like Weeks Dye Works fabric. I really do. There are the colours for the border for the rosebuds going round. So quite a variety there, but in fact I spent a good hour looking through my colours and finding how many I actually had of the recommended threads, and I substituted. If I didn't have the DMC, I've substituted with actually with Anchor, and I'm very happy with the result, getting very close to the original, unlike the Sarah Redfern, where that's a completely different project, where it will not look particularly like the original. This one I really do. And I have to say that I've just, as I say, started one corner. I've started the bottom left this time, just to ring the changes. the Christmas garden, I'm starting top right. This one I thought, oh well, I'll just start the other way around. So I started down, is that right? Yes, started down here, and I've just started on that very first corner rosebud down there, and I've suddenly realized, oh my goodness, it's so like my sheep may safely graze that I have been showing you over the weeks. It does have that type of feel to it, so I might end up sort of stitching them alongside one another, but I think this is lovely, and I discovered it when I was watching Pimpernel stitches, and she has, I think she's been stitching it on 32 count, so it's really large, and she is definitely a great deal further on than me, but it's not a race. There's no competing in my world of stitching or knitting. It's just to be enjoyed, no pressure. But anyway, I thank you, Pimpernel, for showing your work, because that's how I've discovered and decided to choose it for my birthday sampler. So now I've also got knitting, so I'll just swap baskets and then I'll show you the knitting that I've been really focused on for the last 2 weeks. Well, the first knitting item that I have completed isn't here, though I will insert a photo and a video. It's not here because it's in use, and that is Casper's blanket, my beautiful pussycat, and I finished the blanket. It is actually to save a lovely Scottish wool blanket underneath it. I purchased one so that his long hair doesn't go too far onto wool blankets. With this one, I can be just popping it in the washing machine. I knitted it with Sandnes garn and Peer Gynt, and in a sort of a yellowish sort of colour. I have given the I've shown you more clearly in my last episode what I actually used, but it's a Norwegian wool, and he liked it, so we just have a bit of a manoeuvre to get him fully on, because he's quite a large pussycat, so he is actually settled on his blanket rather than my one, but we have managed, and so that is one reason that I knitted it. But the other, just as important reason, is that, as you will know, I have been working on Shetland lace knitting, and this is not the first year that I've tried it, but I'm still learning, I'm still becoming more proficient with it. And I'm at the stage where I am learning how to engineer the structure of a proper traditional Shetland one-ply wool shawl. And again, if you're interested in that, there's a much more full explanation on where I am and recommended books in my previous episodes. But this blanket, Casper's blanket, which is not in Shetland wool, it's in Norwegian wool, is a sort of a beta test on it. I thought, right, well, I'll go with something on large needles, And so I've knitted the center, starting with one stitch and then increasing and then decreasing to get a square. I put on 4 borders, and then I put on an edging that was 2 edgings actually, one inner edging and then an outer edging, which I attached as I knitted along. So that was something I learned. And so I'm very happy with going to the real deal and getting a really large one made up from the point of view of engineering. And the thing that I really, and Casper of course is very happy as well, but I am really happy that I did do a specimen, if you like, because I've learned the most tricky thing for me is the corners. And if you look at the photograph, you will see that my borders are bumpy. This blanket is not perfect. I maneuver around the borders with a double edging, so that it was a very long edging, and so to get the angle round the corner did require extra rows, and on each of the corners I tried a different method. Sometimes it was short rows, and sometimes it was just doing a great deal at the corner, and other times it was increasing gradually as I came up to the corner and went away from the corner. I also did just plain garter stitch as well. And so I've learned how to engineer around a border. I've stuck to the pattern as I've gone round, and then just gradually increased and then decreased back down again. But there's quite an art to getting a wide border, a wide edging around the corner. I'm not saying border because border is a different part of the pattern. And so that's really been worthwhile, and his blanket is not perfect, but he's very happy with it, and so am I. Now the next thing that I finished, no, I think I'll do this next. This is an Australian book, Hewitt and Daly Classic Knitted Cotton Edgings. I discovered this because it was referred to in a little DVD I have about Tasha Tudor. She used this book. And I love this book, absolutely love this book. It's beautifully laid out, and just stacks and stacks of knitted cotton edgings, but they don't have to be cotton. And I sometimes do knit with cotton, but often I knit with the Shetland wool, and that, you know, it transfers to any weight. I've also got my knitted bedspread, which I did a few years ago now, use all the time, and that is definitely in knitted cotton, though the pattern wasn't from here, it was from another book. So this is the cotton I'm using, a crew, and it is, I think, Baby Low. Yes, Baby Low 10, size 10, 100, and it's DMC Baby Low. Just show you that. And the die lot is 1128 if you're interested. And this is using a pattern from the book, and it is a lace edging that is going round my Frisian white work, though it's cream work, basket cover for my knitted basket, and that's where I've got to. So I'm getting there. I think I've got 38 points and I need 64. So that's, and what size? Oh my goodness. 1.50 millimeter needles. Loving doing this, love the feel of it, and the pattern is extremely quick. I think it's 12 stitches, and I will then be stitching that onto my Frisian white work cloth, which is a basket cover, which will eventually, so that is an ongoing thing that just gets done now and again, and we're getting there with that. And then also out of this book here, I wear mittens. If you've been following me at all, you'll know that I get chilly. I'm in a cottage, stone cottage. I live in a stone cottage that is wonderful. It was, but it's cold. Anyway, I won't go into that too long, but it's cold. So that's the knitting and the trying to keep warm and all the rest of it. And when it comes to most things, as it gets cold, I will wear my mittens, but I also use them, fingerless mittens for piano practice. I play Bach, I play Beethoven, I play Chopin. I will play other people, love Mendelssohn, for example, but life is too short, so my top person is Chopin, of course, and I do like Mozart, but life being too short, I tend to gravitate to Chopin, and then you don't go too far with Chopin before you've gone back to Bach. And so I have a beautiful piano. I'm very blessed, and I certainly, during the cold months, which is what we're in now, I need my fingerless mittens to do piano practice. And this is the wrist that is out of the Cotton Edgings book, and that's actually the pattern all the way. That's all the edging. So you cast them on, you knit right along. I then sort of maneuvered and popped, sort of did extra stitches and fiddled around and did the thumb. Then I still knitted across the palm and attached that side, and then I just popped on fingers or part fingers, because that's what they are. So it was, again, I think this is where I seem to be with knitting. I seem to be with structural engineering, and there's the other one. So it's great. You get as far as the lace knitting and you get as far as the patterns, but then if you want to make a garment or mittens or whatever, you have to start thinking from a point of view of an architect and an engineer, which has never been my neck of the woods before. But anyway, they're extremely cozy, and I had to adapt the inner wrist a bit of a, yeah, they're not completely perfect. I'm sure, you know, the prototype will be improved, but I like them, and I wanted that because I wanted my wrists warm as well. And it was my elder daughter who chose the pattern for it, and that is the pattern there, number 37. That's the pattern there, number 37. I won't show you too much of that. And with the pleats. So another, I love learning new things. You probably realise that. I never sit still when it comes to increasing my talent base. And so, as I say, my knitting seems to now be at a place where I'm looking at architecture and structure, and that is certainly the category that this fits into. And this is a sort of a slow reveal. This is a slow reveal. This is probably my favourite wool, which is the Jameson and Smith 2-ply jumper weight. In a lovely sort of Rowanberry red. It's coming across as very bright there. It's slightly softer in reality, and just off-white. And I am knitting with quite small needles, actually 3mm, but don't be guided by me because everyone's gauge is different, and I really don't think I'm sort of typical when it comes to gauge. And as I say, this is a slow reveal. You really don't know what this is. Except hopefully it's going to be a garment that will fit and I can wear. I do hope so. This is my walnut wings that I'm now wearing and loving. I can hardly take it off. And my little Shetland lace neckerchief. So this is something, and this is actually where I've been most days. And this is what happens, isn't it? With our with our handwork, we have, I don't know, a long list, and yet something just grabs us and we just have to keep going with it. And I have to say, oh dear, I got into it, and this is to make you feel better. I've just had to take out 5 rows because yesterday, I don't know, I was teaching and my phone crashed. I've had problems with my bank card. Life has been slightly bumpy in the last fortnight, and with my food shop, and oh heavens. But anyway, so I laid it down. I was interrupted. My phone crashed, and so my teaching session was in serious jeopardy, and so I had to get that sorted out. Taught the lesson, came back, and I picked up my knitting, and I'd gone partway up a row. I wonder if anyone else has done. I used to do this a lot as a child, and I knit the wrong way. I went back and then I didn't notice, and so I had 5 rows that were completely up a gum tree, and so it's taken me most of this morning just to undo them, and so I'm behind. I should have 2 more stars done on this. Yeah, we all make mistakes, my goodness me. And I found as I've got older that actually making mistakes and undoing and putting back is as much of a skill. And if you can have the right mindset, it can be just as enjoyable rather than just being deeply annoying and frustrating. But that's probably piano that does that, because piano certainly teaches you that, doesn't it? To finally get something that's perfect takes a long time. Anyway, as I say, this is a slow reveal, and it might be ready for Christmas. Who knows? Who knows? Finally, I have another reveal. As I say, it's been my birthday, and my younger daughter, who you may know lives in France, and this is her skill. She's so gifted. I stitch and knit because I enjoy it, but this is her skill. Of the family members, we all agree she is the most brilliantly gifted as an embroiderer, and she I'm just so thrilled with this. Gave me a set of sewing items that she has designed and stitched herself. It's got my initial, which is C, on it. That's the little it's upside down. That's the little pin cushion, but she actually uses them for needles when she's a wonderful stitcher. She really is. That's the little pin cushion. She uses them for needles. Scissor holder, beautifully beaded around, absolutely stunning. That, yes, the C is around the right way. Look at that. She's such a busy lady. Her family, she works full time, and yet she did make time to make these for my birthday gift. And this is the needle book. Whoops, needle book. And there's boin needles to go inside. So I just thought I would show you that. Absolutely lovely. So here we are. As I say, you know, we're actually just slightly past the midpoint in November, thinking about Advent now, and then it's Christmas. So I hope you're all well. I do hope you're all well, that you're avoiding all of these bad colds and viruses that can float around, and that you are enjoying your knitting, your stitching. I hope you've been inspired, edified, and if you don't do any handwork, then I hope you just enjoyed watching, and hope to see you again soon. Bye bye.